All right, so I'm going to show you how to start drawing on your Wacom tablet. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to create new, choose the sizing that you want when you're regularly creating something in Photoshop. Once you do that, I'm going to unlock my background layer, and then I'm going to create a new layer over that. That way, my layer I'm drawing on is transparent so I can do anything that I want to with it. The next thing I'm going to do is hit my paintbrush tool, and then you can change the type of brush you have. If you click at the top, you can see there's lots of different brush options depending on what you're drawing. You can decide on what brush fits best for that. After that, after you choose the brush that you want to use for your current design, then you can start to decide on the color of the brush you want to use. So what you're going to do is double tap on that square down there where your color palette is, choose the color you want. I went with black. Then you can begin drawing on your artboard. Once you start doodling and seeing how your pen works on your artboard, then you can start to create something. So I'm just going to start sketching here. So you can see I'm just sketching a quick eyeball, and then I'm going to show you how if you decide part of your design, you've all of a sudden want to change it to make it larger or smaller. So what you're going to do if you want to select a specific part of your drawing and make it larger or smaller, you're going to select the lasso tool. You see it looks like a lasso. It's like a circle with a little line coming out of it. You're going to select it. Then what you're going to do is you're going to draw around whatever you want to select. And now you can see it has like a dotted line around it because it's actually selected. Now, if you don't see a box around what you just selected, you just need to click at the top, show transform controls. That way you can resize your object. You have the object sized to how you want. All you're going to do once you're finished is you're going to hit Command D, or you're going to hit Select, Deselect. So that way you no longer have that dotted line of the selection on your eye. All right, so now if you want to start coloring in your object that you're drawing, you're just going to add a new layer, choose the color that you want to color in. So I'm going to choose like a green color to color in my eyeball, and then what you're going to do is start filling it in. And as you can see, the green is going to be behind my black of my eyeball because it's the layer behind it. So you want to make sure wherever you want your layers that if something's supposed to be on top, it's on the top layer, or if it should be underneath. That's why labeling your layers is important, unlike what I did here. I'm going to choose a couple different colors in my eye, some darker colors and some lighter colors, just to kind of add some value to the eye so I can show you how you can use this to blend or make different colors, like when you use your paint mixer brush tool, like we did on our hamburger. So you can see I'm going to change my brush to my mixer brush tool, and now what I can do is blend these colors. That way it's not as flat when I just colored with one color. You don't have to do this, but it is an option, especially if you decide to get more detail in your future designs, or if you decide to paint more realistically on Photoshop. I'm going to show you if you want to take an image from online or one of your sketches, if you decide to sketch a design, how you're going to import that into Photoshop and then place linked. And then what you're going to do is then you'll go to your desktop wherever you saved your sketches or the photo that you took from online. You'll click it, and then you'll hit place once you find what you're looking for. Plus square box on the layers panel. Then I'm going to go back to my layer of my design, and I'm just going to lower the opacity. You don't have to do that. I just like to lower the opacity so that when I'm tracing something, I can see it better. Now I'm going to show you when I'm tracing my design. You can go to your brush tool. You can make it whatever color you want. All I was doing was holding the space bar, and it gives you a little hand. That way when your design is zoomed in, you can move around in it. So I'm going to hit my brush tool, and then I'm going to trace around my design. Like you can see, obviously that's really poorly done, but I'm just trying to give you a quick example. You can change the smoothing at the top. You see where I'm changing the smoothing, and now I'm making the size of my brush a little bit smaller. That way it's a lot smoother when I'm tracing the design, and it's not as rough as you could see it was before. Now, when you are taking a design from online, if you create it exactly how it is, that is plagiarizing. For this project, it is okay to take a design and create it as your gift. That's perfectly fine if that's what you want to do. But just know, like, if you are trying to sell this or become like an artist, it's not acceptable to be stealing work from online. But for the time being, for the process of learning how to use the tools, Photoshop and your tablet, it's okay to do this. It's just not okay to sell it or put it in your portfolio and claim it as your own work. Now I want to create a new layer, but I'm going to put that layer underneath my outline layer. That way, when I'm coloring it in, my black line is on the outside. So as you can see, I'm just going to change my brush, pick a color, and see I can start coloring in my avocado, okay? You can create separate layers for all your colors. So I have like the pit of the avocado, the brown part on a different layer and the green on a different layer, just so if I make mistakes, I'm not having to redo all my layers and I only can focus on like each color and it's separate. Okay, as you can see, I clicked back on my green layer, I use the eraser tool and I erase part of it. So that way you can work on each layer separately if you decide to change a color or whatever you want to do. Then with the eyeball, I hid my layer with my design on it. So obviously you don't see that anymore. Okay, so here's kind of just like basically making a sketch. Show you how to do this a second time just with a photo from online. What a lot of artists do is they are also photographers. That way they can take their own photos and create original designs from it. Now, taking a photo from online still isn't going to be completely original because it isn't your photo, but it is a lot more original than it would be if you took just someone's animation and literally created it exactly the same. Where this one, you can put your own spin on it, own colors, and you're almost using it as a reference. So I'm doing the same thing I did before, file, place linked, and then I'm grabbing my image and placing it into my Photoshop artboard. After I have it, I'm going to add a new layer. Then I'm going to lower that opacity again and go to my brush tool. And that's when I'm just going to start sketching my design for my bird. Hopefully this helped you get a little bit more of an idea of how to use your tablet, start sketching and creating your designs. It's going to take practice. It takes a little bit of time, but once you get the hang of it, you're going to love it and be able to create all of your ideas.